Hello, thank you for coming to my video today, guys. I really appreciate it. We're going to be going over a lot of cool stuff today. I'm going to be giving you guys a weekly recap on everything you missed in the Cardano ecosystem. We're going to be starting with a couple things that I did this week. They announced the Shelley protocol parameters. That's really important, so I'm going to be going over just a little bit of that. I actually released 2 videos on that, so we're not going to go too deep into that. We're also going to be going over the virtual summit agenda, going over some of those times and important dates. We're going to be going over the Hardfork Combinator results. So if we're actually going to be able to release that Shelley code base at the targeted time or later. We're going to be going over the results for the ITN and what happened and what's going to continue on from there. If there's going to be another vote or not, if there's going to be a snapshot, we're going to be going over all that today. We're also going to be going over the Shelley rollout weekly update. We go over those every week. There's always really important stuff in there. And then we're also going to be going over what the Cardano Foundation voted in the ITN. I think that was really important. And then, as always, the development update. So I'm a stake pool operator at heart, but right now I don't really have a stake pool. I kept my Jormungandr node up on the ITN in case that's going to be useful in the future. But currently I don't have anything to advertise. Just know I'll have a pool on the mainnet. And also, if you want to support my channel, I have donation links down below. I also have a Discord server where I like to help out the community and answer questions. I'm trying to build a little community over there. I also, if you downloaded the Brave browser, if you don't have it already, this browser blocks ads and the trackers involved in the ads. So you're securing your data a little bit more. And also by clicking that link, you support my channel. And they're doing a lot of cool stuff with it. Like just on Twitter, for example, you get paid just for using the browser and having ads come up. And that payment you can use, you can either send to a wallet of yours, or you can just tip people on Reddit or Twitter or on my YouTube channel. And all you got to do is just click this little thing up here to do so. I really support the project. It's pretty cool. But that's the intro. Let's jump into the video. Another important thing that happened this week is they released all of the protocol parameters for mainnet. These are really important. I'm not going to go over them today. Just a couple things that are important is K equals 150, A naught equals 0.30. If you guys want explanations of these, make sure you watch my 2 videos on it. My first one is me going over the article and what they actually mean. And then the second video is, do you need to be a whale as a stake pool owner? This video is just more information on pledge, and then also kind of how I feel about the values and what I think is going to play out. So if you guys want to check those out, these videos are really important for Cardano holders and Cardano stake pool owners alike. These parameters really determine who runs the network and where the network's going to go in the future. But one thing I do want to mention is they are going to be increasing K by 25 incrementally, but those increments and when they're going to happen has not been announced yet. I also started a podcast called Paycast. My first guest was Kaizen Crypto. I had an awesome time. I went for about an hour and 30 minutes. I feel that we clicked really well. He's definitely going to be on in the future. And that made me want to bring up the next thing. But yeah, if you guys want to check that out, I would really appreciate it. I'll probably be doing these either once a week or once every other week. And just make sure you guys comment down below with some guests that you'd like to see. Because I do need to start reaching out to more people if I want to keep these going once a week or once every other week. But yep, I hope you guys enjoyed that. The next important thing that's happening this week, it's not anything that happened in the past week, is the Cardano Virtual Summit 2020 Shelley Edition. The reason I'm leading this after the Kaizen Crypto live stream is because we may be doing a little viewing party. So make sure you guys follow me on Twitter or follow him on Twitter, because I'm sure we'll be announcing it there on our Twitters. And also in my Discord server, I'll be announcing that. But we're going to go over the dates real quick, but just make sure you guys click the link down below. Register here for free. There's a lot of cool stuff happening. I've mentioned it before. We got Vent and Surf coming, Stephen Wolfram, obviously Charles, and then a bunch of other stuff. But let's go look at these dates. So I'm also going to have this link down below. This is the Virtual Summit PDF. And it looks like it's starting Thursday. This is in Colorado time, so GMT, and that's at 9 is when, or actually 8 is when Charles Hoskinson is coming on. But yeah, just make sure you guys click this down below, check out all these dates. What I'm going to go do is go through and pick out all of the important dates on each day and figure out what would be a good time to start a live stream, kind of as a viewing party to where the community can join in. We can all give our thoughts together in between where they're talking. But if you guys do come to the viewing party, just let you know that I'll be quiet during the important parts. I won't be interrupting or anything. but when there's a break in content is when I'll start discussing the cool stuff and giving my opinion on it. Kaizen Crypto might be doing this with me. We had a little bit of talk about that. It might be one on my channel and one on his channel. Just make sure you guys follow us on Twitter for more information or join the Discord server. But yeah, just make sure you guys show up to this, sign up. I'm really excited for it. I think it's really going to be awesome. For some reason, I have the feeling that this is going to be the before and after for Cardano, but who knows, I might be wrong. We will see. I feel as a lot of people don't have a good place to stay informed with the announcements and updates, whether it's about developers or whether it's about about Cardano and what's going to be happening or the summit or anything. I wanted to recommend that you guys go to forum.cardano.org and go specifically to the news and announcements page. No one else is allowed to post here except for people that are making the announcements from either IOHK, the Cardano Foundation, etc. So I think this is a good place as a central hub of information. So make sure if you guys are on here, get on here, because I feel like people are having trouble finding information in the community, and this is a good place other than my channel. Telegram, you have to kind of communicate with people to get good information. So this is a good way to get information without having to participate in the conversation. And that leads me into the next thing. From IOHK Tim, our boy Tim Harrison, always giving us some good news and announcements. This is about the Hardfork Combinator test. This was the thing that was holding us back. In case this went wrong, we would have to push the Shelley code release back 7 days from the schedule that I've mentioned a million times. And he says the news went well. Tech demo, Hardfork Combinator, ready for Shelley deployment. He says the Hardfork Combinator is a remarkable piece of technology which plays a central role in the deployment of Cardano Shelley, created to allow us to transition from Byron to Shelley in an orderly manner. Here's a tech demo showing it to being tested so you can see the process for yourself. So if you guys want to see a more technical analysis from Philip Kant, make sure you guys check this out. But the whole purpose of the Hardfork Combinator is actually to avoid a hard fork. It kind of doesn't sound like it from the name, but everything went well. The Shelley code release is scheduled on target. But yeah, if you guys want a more technical analysis of this, make sure to check out that video. If you haven't heard, there was a vote for the ITN to continue another month, and that would increase the reward pots by 95 million test data if the majority voted yes. But there was a bit of misunderstanding between who actually had to participate. Even me, initially, I thought it was just stake pool operators. I assumed that I think it was 60 to 70% of active stake pools. And that's kind of what I asked during the live stream is, well, how many, like, what do you consider active? And I didn't really get much verification on that. And that's why a lot of people were upset about this. I think a lot of people wanted the ITN to continue on another month, but most users were uninformed. And I thought it was just stake pool operators were voting. And I know the sentiment from stake pool operators was, yes, I would like it to continue. I wouldn't want to lose that. Just the branding I have with my delegates. And then all of a sudden, your vote was released. And a lot of people were a little suspect about it because you had to actually type in your secret keys. And the app apparently had some errors and some issues. Pay88 actually voted, we voted in favor of continuing the ITN, but we did it from the CLI. I never actually used your vote, but a lot of people were a little suspect about that. But I mean, if that was the case, I mean, all you could have had to have done is move your ADA over to another wallet and still you typed in that secret key. If you're really, really worried about your secret key being released, you could have just moved your RealNet ADA over. I mean, a lot of people did that for when the ITN started initially. But yeah, this was the sentiment. A lot of people were really upset. So it turned out to be no. The ITN is not continuing on. There was going to be a second vote afterwards, and that's mentioned up here. I'm going to have this link down below if you guys want to read this whole thing. The second vote, they were going to take a snapshot of mainnet during July, and then if you're holding ADA at the time in Daedalus Roy, you'll be granted the right for another vote. And that will be a vote if you want the ITN to continue on past this 1 month. But since the first vote didn't pass, we didn't have enough turnout. The second vote is never going to happen unless they come out and release something. But there's a lot to learn from this, and Charles released a really good video this week, and I'm going to show you guys more on that. But before we go into that, I did want to mention that the Cardano Foundation took 50% of its holdings and chose to abstain, which is a little interesting to me. They said that they were following like community sentiment, but to me, it seemed like everyone wanted it to continue, especially if we were going to do another snapshot and bring in all of the new people. But again, that is just my anecdotal experience. So let's go ahead and jump into the video that Charles released this week. Sometimes he releases videos that really encapture the ideologies that we're all here for and kind of they bring back that passion. And I think this is one of those, so you guys really need to check it out. But I'm going to show you 2 short clips specifically about the ITN and also about something else.
Stores, reapply them and pull them and bring them into our system. The ITN vote, who cares if it succeeds or fails? There's a few hours left to see if we hit the participation threshold or not. But the lesson, again, we should be learning here is, why was it hard? It was hard because the tools weren't right. The support wasn't right. And that anger and that feeling that people have about it, productively, we can channel it into a conversation of, well, what needed to exist for me to have felt good about it? And in the month of July, we're going to start that conversation of things that we think will solve that problem. But that's our first step. And we're going to have to move quickly. And we're going to have to be clever about this. And there are no right answers or wrong answers. It's just, what do we...
So I think he summed it up there very well. There was just a lack of support, a lack of communication. And this is a lesson. And that's what I like, that they even opened this up, and the idea, it just happened too quickly. We weren't given enough announcement of it before, so I could really ingrain that in my viewers' heads. I couldn't spread it on my Discord very much. It was, hey, this is ending on the 19th. We expected it to end on the 29th, but it's actually ending on the 19th. So then Charles releases a video, hey, we need to do something about this. This is what it could be done for. And he was trying to give his opinion and trying to voice this to the community, but it was just too rushed. Your vote was too rushed. It wasn't out initially. It wasn't mentioned initially. I thought only the stake pool operators had to do so. And if I think that, and if I am getting a misconception, I can't imagine the wider audience who doesn't have as much time to look into this stuff as I do. This is the other clip that I wanted to show you from this, but I would really like if you guys watch this whole thing. I'm sure you will after seeing these clips.
We need to demo and showcase these particular tools, and we're going to do our best job we can to do that. And this ITN vote, it's kind of the accidental project. We never got around to that Blade Runner, and so there was a great opportunity to kind of start the conversation for democracy and show that it's a frustrating one. But what encouraged me the most is that people hung together, and despite the fact that they got frustrated, and despite the fact that they thought that things weren't perfect or that things weren't handled the way that they should have been, they never lost faith in the project. And the fact that they cared so much was because they had so much faith in the project. And that really meant the world to me. And that really showed that our best days are ahead of us. I believe we're going to be the ones who solve this project. We've done great work on the mathematics side and the science side. And if that's all we ever accomplished, we built something that was beautiful and amazing and probably profitable. But I'd like to believe that we have the capacity to solve the bigger problem, which is the governance problem, the voting problem, the decision problem. And should we do that, it will be a great beacon for the world to look at and ask, why don't our governments behave this way? Why don't our corporations behave this way? Why?
I agree with him 100% here. Just showing the passion for this in the community and us asking, why wasn't this executed better? It's just going to be a learning experience for us. And I think we'll do better in the future with this style of thing. Democracy is hard. Like Charles says, welcome to the mess of voting. But I really do think you guys should check out this whole clip. Another thing from Chris Gaff. I really like this guy. He made a guide called Jormungandr for Noobs. I used this guy to set up my pool initially. He's an awesome guy, but he says he originally said that he's going to keep his node up and running, and then Nicholas DiPrima, this is who made Your Vote. And I'm pretty sure they made the ITN, but he said, sounds great if the nodes are still up. I'll plan for release with a multi-sig account and stake pool parameter update soon. So they are still going to be working on the ITN as long as nodes stay up. And then I actually retweeted this and announced that my node will stay up too. I mean, it cost me a little bit of money, but I mean, I already have the hardware, I already have everything going, so it's not a big deal. I'm willing to keep my node up in case I can support the developers in the future, but only then. If a couple months from now, nothing's going on, we haven't found a way to support the developers, I mean mainly the developers working on the Haskell code, because we could prototype things to this much more quickly than we could the Haskell code. So if I can help out in any way, I'm willing to keep my node up at a loss, because we're not making any rewards anymore. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the update on the ITN. The ITN is over or paused for now, but the vote didn't pass. I'm pretty sad about it. It doesn't look like the new snapshot's going to come because the first vote didn't pass. But if more information is released on this, I'm sure more people are going to comment on it. I will release that information to you either in a video later this week or in my weekly recap next week. The last thing I wanted to go over today is our Shelley rollout weekly update with IOHK Tim Harrison, our boy. He gives us these great updates every week. The first part of the article is just going over some stuff that we've already mentioned in the video, like stake pool parameters. The second part is what I actually want to give this information to you guys. I am going to read it directly because the information is very useful and it's self-explanatory, so I don't need to really explain anything to you. We've been successfully running node version 1.14 on the Shelley testnet now for over a week, and if some final integration and testing work goes well over the weekend, we're aiming to deploy it, or possibly version 14.1 to mainnet June 30th. This is an important deployment because this node contains the Hardfork Combinator candidate code that will be crucial to implementing the hard fork later in July. We won't spring the full functionality, but it'll be there, ready for later in July. The code is looking solid, following a number of successful mainnet candidate tests during this week. We should have a new dataless wallet for you next week. I'm really excited for this. I'll be making some videos on this. This new Shelley wallet will contain the balance check capability, allowing any ADA holder who has been staking in the ITN to check the rewards balance. This will be available first by CLI at node release if you're keen to check. This new Shelley wallet will also contain staking and delegation features for a little later down the line. For trying out using test data on the testnet, they won't be enabled in the first release, but the full dataless wallet, Shelley wallet experience is now beginning to take shape nicely. As soon as the wallet is available to download, we'll let you know via our social channels. That's it. We have the teams working over the weekend, so expect more progress and updates in the first half of the week. If all goes to according plan, thanks as ever for your interest and support. Here's to a summer of Shelley. So I really do like his articles. I think his updates are great. I'm excited for this dataless wallet coming out. And then I also do like this little infographic they gave us right here. They can see that we're right before the hard fork, and then you can see where we are in the Haskell testnet. And I've always liked their branding for sure. But that is the video. If you guys made it to the end of the video, type in Shelley in the comments down below. I appreciate you staying this long. I just want to say thank you guys for your support. I've been having a lot of fun doing this. I'm sure you can see by all the content I've been putting out. But I promise you I'll get better at this, and I'll keep making better iterations as I move forward. So thanks again. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.